This is the Realme 6i, which borrows key hardware from the Realme 6 but comes at a much lower price of 13,000 rupees. With the toned down specifications and the lower starting price, has Realme managed to strike the right balance? Well, we are about to find out. Hi, I'm Aditya from Gadgets 360 and this is the full review of the Realme 6i. And now that you're here, be sure to subscribe to the Gadgets 360 YouTube channel and click that bell icon so that you're the first to know when we have a new video. Most of you might already know that the I suffix in Realme smartphone basically stands for a stripped down variant. This holds true for this one as well. It hosts the same overall design as the Realme 6. This means you have the same side mounted fingerprint scanner, a similar placement of buttons, pill shaped camera module, you get the idea. Apart from the back, which is a fingerprint magnet, I quite like the design of the Realme 6i. Its corners are easy to reach and it isn't very heavy either. Now, given the phone's affordable nature, the first thing that grabbed my attention was the 90Hz refresh rate on the display. This feature isn't very common in the sub 15,000 rupee price range and that makes the Realme 6i stand out. The 6.5-inch display sports a Full HD Plus resolution and has Corning Gorilla Glass 3 for protection. I found the display to have good viewing angles and adequate brightness outdoors. Let's talk about the variants and the pricing, which you can see on your screen now. I am reviewing the base variant with 4GB of RAM. The phone runs Android 10 with Realme UI on top. There is a fair amount of bloatware on the device, so you should know that before you consider buying the smartphone. Having said that, the Realme 6i did not show any signs of slowing down while using it. The MediaTek Helio G90T is a powerful processor and is capable of handling heavy apps and games alike. General usage was not an issue and I could load multiple apps and multitask between them. I played PUBG Mobile and it defaulted to the high presets with graphics set to HD and frame rate set to high. I did not notice any lag while playing the game, but the device did get slightly warm to the touch after playing for 20 minutes. The UI also feels super smooth thanks to the refresh rate, which can be turned down to 60Hz by the way if you want to save battery. You might expect Realme to be a little stingy with the battery capacity considering it comes at a lower price point. Well, not really. The Realme 6i still gets a 4300 mAh battery and it also supports 30W fast charging. But here's where you find that compromise. You get a 20W charger. It isn't that bad. In an hour's time, you can go from 0 to 85%. There are some changes in the camera department as well to keep costs low. You have a 48 megapixel primary camera instead of the more expensive 64 megapixel one. You can see the specs of other rear cameras on your screen now. Photos taken in daylight were good and the Realme 6i managed decent dynamic range. The level of detail in shots was acceptable given the price point and photos were sharp. The wide-angle camera on the Realme 6i offers a much wider field of view, but at the cost of details. Shots also had slight barrel distortion at the edges. Photos taken at full resolution had visible grain on zooming in. Close-up shots taken with the Realme 6i had good details and a soft bokeh effect, but the AI boosted colors artificially. For portraits, the Realme 6i does let you set the level of blur before taking the shot. It managed good edge detection and could separate the subject from the background quite well. Macros taken with sufficient ambient light had good detail. In low light, camera performance takes a dip. Shots lose out on detail heavily, especially in the shadows. The night mode takes about 4 seconds on average to take a shot, forcing you to hold the camera steady. There is a slight improvement with better details in the shadows and the overall image looks a tad brighter. Selfies taken in daylight are good and beautification is enabled by default, so you get some smoothing in the output. The front camera also takes decent portraits and lets you set the level of blur for the background before taking a shot. Performance in low light was strictly average, but it does have a night mode which helps you take a brighter shot. Video recording tops out at 4K for the primary camera and 1080p for the selfie camera. The footage isn't stabilized at either 1080p or 4K. There is an ultra steady mode that somewhat stabilizes footage at 1080p though. Low light video performance was strictly average. The Realme 6i is an interesting new choice for anyone looking for good hardware and features on a tight budget. It offers nearly all the good parts of the Realme 6, such as the powerful MediaTek Helio G90T processor, the 4300 mAh battery and the 90Hz refresh rate display. The places where it cuts back are the bundle charger and camera performance. For the asking price, the base variant of the Realme 6 offers very good value for money, as there are not a lot of smartphones with a 90Hz display at this particular price point. But if you don't really care about that, the Poco M2 Pro is going to be a suitable alternative. So that was my full review of the Realme 6i. Now what do you think about this particular smartphone? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to gadgets360.com.